What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Trail Theory Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Alex.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Pfeiffer. Hey, welcome back, everyone.
We're here.
To the Trail Theory Podcast. We're fired up.
Yeah!
Fired up tonight.
And we're recording.
We are recording. Yeah, the light is on.
The
Audio.
camera's on!
The camera's on. You missed Brian rushing at the last second.
I'm all sweaty now.
All right.
Wow.
We're
That's
here.
all it takes,
We made
huh?
it. We made it.
That's all it takes.
Clear, buddy. We're not at altitude.
So out of shape right now, dude. Yeah, that's all it takes.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. Tonight, we are going to do another one of our sort of segment episodes, an articles episode. So this will be where we take a look at what's happening, current events in the backpacking and outdoorsy world. There's always some exciting stuff happening.
Maybe not necessarily always current, but
Minor
generally,
current.
generally.
I mean, yeah, it's
My articles are new.
It's a mix. It's a mix. I think
all right?
sometimes between like an article that just was. I typically like to look for stuff that was within the last week, but
Right.
also sometimes I like to dig in a little
I
bit.
do.
Yeah,
I do
sure.
too. I do
Yeah.
too.
I mean, I'm probably
But
not going to.
mine are new. So
I'm not going to whip out the
minor
article from 1920s where it was like the
usually I try
Appalachian
and
Trail is
squeak
being
an
built.
old one.
The Appalachian The Appalachian Trail's being built.
No one probably
We're here.
even
We made it.
made a news article
A new
about
boat called Titanic is,
We put
So,
a man on the moon. The ultimate explorer.
it. Talk about trailblazing.
Yeah,
Next
so
episode.
I know. Well, I don't know who wants to kick off, but we all take a look at what's happening out there, and then we talk about it. That's the framework.
I wanna
We're
kick
here.
off.
Is it
We're here.
appropriate to talk about this?
I
Yeah,
wanna
there's a
kick it
mess
off, too.
going on here on our the
treasure chest.
We
Yeah.
did our
Has some decorations
we did
on
our
it.
normal fireball shot.
We
We're
did.
We're
for the
back in
first
routine.
You know what? That's why I'm so excited.
That's also why
That's
I
why,
was
that's why no
energized.
one has been subscribing in the last 3 weeks.
I said no. That's not
kidding.
true.
Actually,
That is
everyone's
not
been
true.
subscribing.
So
Shit is
thank
popping
you.
off.
Hey,
you
let's
guys.
do that real quick. Thank you, everyone,
Thank you.
over the past few weeks who's been subscribing. We saw a lot of activity,
increase.
and the community's growing, and we love you all, and we're glad you enjoy what we're doing because we love it, and we have so much fun. So thank you, everybody.
If
Make
you
sure
haven't-
if you haven't already, like and subscribe, whether you're on Spotify,
Yeah.
Apple Music, or watching our beautiful faces on YouTube.
That's right.
Appreciate it. Comment and share with your friends.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Tell 12 friends each of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you'll be entered
let's
to win a non-existing
Pyramid
drawing.
scheme.
Ooh,
the
nice.
shit
Let's
out of this.
pyramid scheme the shit out of this podcast. I love it.
Let's before we
That's
get
how
into
we
the
do it.
articles, let's talk about what's happening up front.
Maybe that has to do with
Let's
this
do that.
article.
Maybe it
No,
does.
it has nothing to do with
got
the
it.
article.
Okay.
That
Then-
would have been great, right? I should have tried to find an article that was about that.
But why then?
Oh man, I don't know what it was. Well, you kind of joked it was because I went to a speakeasy recently, and maybe that's why. But I was in New York for work this week, and had a really good cocktail. And I remembered we started talking about a whiskey sour. We started talking about other cocktails, and I love making whiskey sours,
Let's
and I
get
haven't
to it.
made one in a while.
Then
And
now.
so I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to craft, and I'll put the ingredients up, and we'll post and stuff like that. I'm going to create my own kind of whiskey sour, and it's going to be called the Trail Theory Campfire Whiskey Sour.
Oh my God, we have our own cocktail.
A signature cocktail.
Turn up for that.
Are you ready?
What?
if it's
Are
good
you
enough,
ready?
I think we'll have to
Pinky's
vote.
out.
Turn down for what?
Wow.
So-
Yeah, let's go.
Hang
Yeah.
on. Have you tested this out at home?
I did it just a little bit ago. Maybe that's why I'm also
I was gonna
kind of
say,
jacked
fired
up.
I was gonna say because if you were like in it, like trying it for the first time now and it sucked,
No.
and you're stuck with a shitty cocktail.
So it's funny.
For the Trail Theory podcast cocktail.
If it's bad, you have to lie. Okay, that's the
all right,
first
yeah,
rule.
obviously.
The second
That-
rule.
no.
I'm just kidding. No, the first when I made it a little bit ago, I actually am going to alter the ratio of fresh lemon juice.
Today you're going to alter it?
Yes.
Okay. On the spot change.
Just a
Okay.
little bit.
Pulling an audible.
I'm gonna pull.
All
I'm gonna
right.
pull it down a little bit. So I'm gonna just kind of mention before I start making everything, and you guys can kind of talk over me while I'm making everything. But it is 2 ounces of whatever whiskey you want. What
do we got?
This Duke is what I just had. I went all the way out to the store. It's Sunday today. and the liquor store was closed when I went
some
there.
of our liquor laws are a little funky.
Yeah, so I didn't get to make exactly what I was hoping to make, and maybe I'll save that for another time.
Did you have a specific bottle you wanted to use?
I'm going to
There
save
are
it.
some on the
Yes.
wall.
There are.
There are some upstairs too.
None of those that I don't think you'd had any of the ones that I'm looking
Well, it's a
at.
bourbon, so were you at
This-
least looking for another bourbon?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's all right.
So
It's fair.
yeah,
I'm
I
excited.
changed it a little bit. So it's 2 ounces of bourbon or whiskey. It is a half ounce of lemon juice or fresh squeezed lemon. It is half of a egg white. So we're making a traditional whiskey
That's a sour. That's a traditional
Okay.
sour.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
I'm not
traditional-
Are you not hip?
I'm not hip to sours.
Oh, really?
No.
Bro.
Oh
Did-
man,
a
The real
traditional-
egg is
Welcome.
So, and then a little bit of bitters, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off, and then
Okay.
I'm tweaking it, and this is the tweak that is kind of making it trail theory. I'm gonna be burning some rosemary on the pocket
toast.
I thought I
On
saw
this-
a little
the
bag
jet
of something
boil.
green
Yeah.
there.
to kind of smoke it up and make it a little campfirey here. So,
So we'll all right. So we can go ahead and chat a bit.
All right, here we
I
go.
guess?
Bartender,
Or are we just
Brian
gonna
over
comment
here.
on what's happening in front
I
of
mean,
us?
it's going to be hard to talk while he's.
I know, dude. I
crafting
kind of just watch this. Oh, let's talk about this while he makes this drink. So, like, I know all of us before have brought flasks with whiskey in it on the trail.
yeah.
Which is like
It used to be a staple.
it. I've always. I don't think I've gone on a trail without. A full flask.
I've gone a few without.
It's
at
been a
this point.
while.
It's been a while.
Has it?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did on the last trip though. I took a flask. I didn't take it in my pack though.
And I think
Not sure why.
I'm trying to figure out why.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean,
wait.
at
Just
least
a
for
little
the
nip while you're driving.
I was also like, well, I knew that
no,
with
we don't condone.
Don't do that.
with
don't
the
do that.
elevation
if
of
you're
the
in the passenger seat or beyond.
drinking alcohol is not great for alcohol or for getting acclimated to
Altitude.
altitude.
You get
Right.
messed up real quick.
So I kind of was like, I'll admit I was a little panicked. I was like, well, I remember even drinking like the 1 or 2 beers we had before, like the
Yeah.
night before, and I was like, oh, I hope this doesn't screw me over.
oh, interesting. Yeah.
So that was actually
God, no wonder everybody's
that was
moving to
actually
Denver. Take a couple beers and you're done.
Yeah, and you're like, woo,
Yeah.
over the
saving
moon.
money at the ballpark on beers. It's like, yeah, nice.
It was. I remember our first 4 or 6 trips or so. Every
it was-
single
it was
time,
always.
and it was empty every time when we
Look
when
at
we were
you,
done.
the 2 eggy little container too, huh?
He
What
needs
you-
something.
what you need, bud?
He needs something.
I need one more because I need to separate. You have to separate.
You need a
Yeah,
container.
so you want to
need a
separate
container.
if you're going to use an actual egg, you need
hang
to
on.
separate the yolk from the egg white.
Just do it in your lap.
Use your hand. Here, bring that over. I'll slurp. I'll slurp the
Cup
coffee out of that.
underneath. There we go. Oh, you're gonna finish your coffee and then we're gonna use it for egg.
Yeah.
Oh no, this was fresh.
Since we're talking eggs and drinks, there's a morning drink, a coffee drink that sometimes I have with an
Baileys?
egg in the morning.
Oh,
I don't know if any listeners have heard of Bulletproof Coffee.
oh yeah, yep.
I don't always do it with an egg, but
Very
it's
nice.
basically just
Very
like
nice.
coffee with grass-fed butter,
Yep.
unsalted.
Yep.
Because you don't want that salt in it. It
Yeah.
tastes disgusting. You could use a couple different types of oils, like MC2 oil, brain octane oil, basically like coconut.
You know what I've been
type
adding
oils.
with it?
Have you been doing it regularly?
Shake,
I-
shake,
not regularly,
I at
but
least do it 2 or 3
yeah,
times
shake,
a week.
shake,
Yeah,
shake,
I
shake,
occasionally.
shake.
I've been doing. Even if I don't do it bulletproof, I'll just do black coffee. But I'll add in the collagen peptides.
Yeah, that's good stuff too.
yeah,
for
so,
sure.
I've been
But if you're doing-
smacking the
But yeah,
collagen
sometimes-
peptides.
some-
You're
Sometimes what I
doing
do-
butter and peptides.
I do-
Shit, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. But I'll do the butter, I'll do the MCT oil, and then I'll
Yep.
every so often, just for a little bit. If I don't have
There
like
she is.
eggs,
Toast that shit.
I'll wow, look at this.
Look at
I'll
it.
pop in an egg
Look
yolk.
at this guy. Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Ooh, it's about to smell amazing in here. So, to our audio listeners, we got the jet boil going.
I don't know. Yeah,
Brian
get that mic
is,
in there.
yeah, Brian is. Oh, there it is. Oh, it sounds so good. Brian's toasting up some rosemary and mixing up our drinks here. This turned into a very different podcast very quick.
Something.
We'll get to the articles soon. We promise. We do have good ones that
Oh
we want
man,
to
he
talk
just
about.
stuck that bad boy right
Yeah,
in there.
Rosemary's
Got some
smoked
ice.
rosemary
Look
is
at
going
that.
in.
What's our
in the
prediction?
shaker.
Is this going to be good or not?
Oh, it's going to be good.
I just
I will say Brian
used
Brian is
rosemary
such a
2 days ago.
He's such
For
a
steak.
perfectionist when it comes to cocktails that I 100% know is going to be good.
Perfectionist when it comes to
give us
Well,
a shake.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, give us just a solid shake
So
sound.
I will say, if for anyone that's kind of nervous about like the egg white, the raw egg white, it kind of cooks.
Man up.
because of the alcohol in there, and then so when you shake it, it actually
Fucking magic.
I can't remember
Well, it
the
does
exact word
whiten
for
up.
it, but it
Frothy.
it
Gets
creates
frothy.
cream. Yeah, it's
It gets
almost
frothy.
Yeah.
frothy.
Yeah.
Creates the
if
creme
you
on top.
if you and it's the same thing. You ever had? I think they're called like Japanese pancakes or something. But you take egg whites and you beat them
Yes,
until
right.
they turn
Yes.
into like a froth,
Dude,
and
I've
like cream
seen
that,
that.
and then you mix that with
the egg yolk.
Yeah, with the yolk, and
Yeah.
then it creates the batter, and it's like the fluffiest damn pancake
I've-
you've ever
I've
seen
sa-
in your
I've
life.
probably saved
In.
like 2 videos on Instagram
That's
that
one
do
of them.
that,
Yeah.
and I've wanted to do that for so long.
Dude,
in
I've
order-
tried it. It's amazing. It's incredible.
in order to get that kind of frothy top,
Yeah.
you want to double strain it. So I've got a strainer that's in my
Got it.
shaker.
I'm smelling
and I'm
the
going to use
rosemary
that
now.
too. Yeah, you smell the rosemary.
yeah, this
campfirey, right?
This whole studio
Let's
is
just acknowledge
beautiful
how
right now.
eggs are super like
oh, they're superfood.
they're
Dude.
they're made.
They are the
don't
superfood.
even get me f***ing started, dude. It is
The shells are magic.
It
like
is-
everything about an egg is magic.
it is nature's multivitamin.
yeah, dude.
It is so important. I want
Nature's-
chickens so bad. I've got a plan for chickens, but I think I have to wait until my kids are a little older because they are kind of a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I want them to kind of like be
And
able
you
to
know
help
you
out
can
and shit.
you can freaking grind up
Kind of mountains we got at the
you
bottom
can
of those
you can
cups.
grind up eggshells in a Vitamix and add that, and it's freaking like calcium powder.
really?
And
Oh,
you just
that's
add it
dope.
to your coffee, and it's freaking
Hey,
like
I don't do
just
this.
boom.
I don't really do this all the time, but a lot of people like peel the membrane off
Yeah.
the inside of the egg for certain nutrition. I mean, that's a little
Sounds like a lot of work.
nitty-gritty
But
for
I,
me.
but I do know
But-
that people jam on the eggshells.
dude, I rock
Oh
it.
yeah, dude.
Dude, I
People just eat the whole egg, shell and all.
I eat at least 3 to 6 eggs a day, every
Yeah.
single day.
Oh yeah.
Every single dude. It's
My household.
But I'm also
goes
like
through,
rocking protein these days. I'm kind
Yeah.
of going bananas.
My household goes through at least a dozen every 2 days. I mean,
Yeah.
at the very least, but it's usually like a dozen a day.
Eggman.
We're just
The walrus.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's why I want the eggs because that's why I want chickens because.
Yeah.
But I need. There's a lot of things I need to have before I get chickens. Like one, my wife has to be on board.
Is she not yet?
She was, and then she wasn't, and now we're working on her again. It's okay. I got like 4 or 5 years.
How did she get on the
Long
horse
term.
then off the horse?
Well, because
on
she
the chicken, then off the
understands
chicken.
the importance of eggs.
Sure,
And,
sure.
and,
Yeah.
and loves,
Loves a good egg.
loves a good locally sourced, beautiful farm raised.
But what
egg.
made her get off the horse? Though?
Well, because it's difficult. It's
Yeah.
extremely
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
You have to constantly be on it. You have to deal with their poop. You have to feed them. It's not an easy thing. You don't
No,
just
yeah.
throw a
Pain
couple
in the ass.
chickens in
and
your backyard
whammo,
and
you
deal with it.
you got a dozen every day.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's-
you gotta work at it. So it's. And my plans, I would love to do it. I think she'll be on board, but I gotta wait till like my kids aren't little. Wait till they're a
My
little
wife
older.
grew up from early childhood with chickens
I know,
all
but
around all the time, man.
My wife and I, our capacity for work. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I have enough on my plate.
I would
don't
say
need to add some chickens.
don't let the age of the kids be a barrier.
No.
That's what I
it's
would
more
say.
of just no. It's not because they're little they can't.
Right.
No, it's more of the work that my
Right,
wife
right,
and I would
it's
have
on-
to do
yeah,
for
yeah.
chickens.
I
I,
get
just
it,
don't
dude.
want more on that plate.
I get
This
it.
is really interesting
it's
backpacking
super-
podcast
I know.
stuff, right?
We
Let's
promise.
talk about
It's
backpacking.
by 20 minutes in, we will get to backpacking.
We're 15 minutes in. We haven't mentioned a single article, but this is fun.
You're
This
gonna
is cool.
Express that lemon essence onto the rim of the.
At
glass.
least we're having fun.
We did talk a little bit about you were opened up with flasks on the trail, which is, I mean,
So
it
you were
is interesting.
So let me ask this then.
I
Okay,
always bring a flask,
We
yeah.
were kind of gonna. I thought this is where you were gonna go with this, but what would be? Let's bring it back to backpacking. We talked about flasks on the trail.
Yes.
What would be if you were to take a whiskey, a bourbon, or whatever?
Any whiskey.
What are you putting in the flask? What type? What brand? What are you putting in
Not
there?
bourbon.
You don't do bourbon?
It's I do
Like on the trail?
right? Generally, I do, but I less so. Recently, it's getting too sweet for me. I
Yeah.
like an Irish whiskey
Yeah. Okay.
or a
I
rye.
love that.
Or a rye.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I might be on board. My thing though is like bourbon for me is there's not many misses in bourbon.
It's true, but
Right?
it's a cushioned seat.
shit.
at home with a fire.
I mean,
Like
you're
it's a
making a
very
fucking
bourbon's a
mess
very
over here.
specific context for me, and the camp.
I'll clean it up.
The camp setting is.
I
meh.
once on like our first or second trip, I brought Lefroy, which is like peat smoke
Yeah,
smashing
buddy.
around the face, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Well,
But
'cause you're
I
at a
also can't
campfire
drink
and
a
you're
lot of
drinking
that.
a campfire.
To-
All right,
to-
cheers, boys.
All right, here
to
we
the
go.
Fern boys.
I'm -1 egg, unfortunately, so it's not so frothy, but
There we go. Got it. All right.
Here we go. Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
It's whiskey.
It
And
is.
it's
I
sour.
should have
That is a sour.
cooked the rosemary a little bit more.
No, but that's
I-
good.
It's yummy.
I honestly, I don't think I've ever had a whiskey sour.
Dude, I
So
think
good.
a whiskey sour is one of my favorite drinks of all time.
Same.
I love the taste. I love how it looks.
So you asked the cups. These are cups that I got from
Good old
Huckberry.
Huckberry. I was gonna say, man.
And so
well, I got Mount Rainier.
Wait, I don't want to spoil it, but tell us, what is
yeah,
it?
so I've got 2 different mountains on here, and
From the
for-
bottom, it does not look like a mountain.
Oh,
it's hard to see.
no, it is.
oh, I
It
see.
is.
I know,
Wait,
but from the bottom, it looks a little strange.
There's 2 mountains.
But from the top, it's
So what do you have?
like a mountain to me.
What do you have?
I have Mount Rainier.
You have Mount Rainier on
Same.
yours. You have Rainier.
I have Washington.
I have Mount Washington as well.
Hey,
So Mount Washington and Mount
nice.
Rainier's. Yeah,
So-
they're really cool.
Wonderful.
I think I've bought 3 sets of these now.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, and I don't own a set. Maybe this
Oh,
year's
really?
the year I buy one for
Oh,
myself.
man, you
Yeah,
just
it's a
gifted
great
them?
gift.
They're awesome.
It's a very
I've
cool
got a
gift.
decanter too.
I mean,
that's
my
really
birthday's
cool.
in May.
Well, maybe you'll be number 4.
I just had my birthday.
That's right. We just had his birthday.
Well, you didn't get one.
You got a nice
sorry,
birthday.
next year.
You got a nice birthday gift text.
yeah, it was
But
great.
yeah.
Well, there's
Maybe next
the
You're
Trail
loved.
Theory Campfire Whiskey Sour, guys.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brian.
I am happy to call this our Trail Theory signature drink. This is delicious. I like it.
Our signature drink.
Our
wow.
signature drink.
Signature
When you
drink.
say it like that, it feels like we're
official.
I mean, we're putting a ring on it.
Cool. Yeah,
I
there
love
you go.
it. I love it. All right, so
Who wants to get into the article episode?
Let's do it.
But
Let's do it.
wait,
Let's keep
for
drinking
2
these.
seconds.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk. We were
Oh,
we
go
were
back to
talking
on
about
something. We were on something.
We gotta at least finish that thought.
Finish the thought. Go for it.
So, like, yeah, we were talking about whiskey.
brands
or, like, what
you'd
you'd
be interested in
what you
taking.
bring. Okay.
I kind of like what Pfeiffer said, where, like, yeah, I think I typically do bring a bourbon. I'm a huge fan of Weller, which
Yeah.
is done with
Like
the Buffalo
Weller.
Trace.
Right up
We've
there.
got actually a bottle of the Special Reserve.
Green.
That's one of my favorites. It's really good value too. So that's probably one of
can
my
find it
go-tos
here
for
And
this.
we,
pretty
and we
cheap.
can buy
yeah.
it in Ohio.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's I would probably go with that. The Weller Special Reserve. That's a good go-to.
And you don't. What I found is you don't bring like really top of the line, top shelf stuff on the trail
Nah.
because you're not going to enjoy it the way it needs to be enjoyed.
Well, it's
So I'm-
also
Hey,
in-
speak for yourself.
well,
Well-
no, but I also I have a Stanley flask,
Yeah.
tin flask or whatever metal it is.
it tastes different out of a
It
flask.
tastes different out of
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And it's for something like I'm not going to bring because I to this day Bushmills 21 year is the best that's ever existed. It's amazing.
So
I would never drink that out of a flask.
We all tried that, and we had it years ago.
Nothing's topped it.
You can't even find it though, right? Like it's.
Oh,
I've
like-
seen it.
You have
Yeah,
seen it?
It's
It's
expensive,
hard.
but
It's
I've
hard.
seen it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Maybe we should go in on
it's
a bottle.
amazing. We should.
Count me in.
Yeah, I'm in right now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Don't tempt me.
Delicious.
I guess I'll do it.
I think so. There's a part of me that when I'm on the trail, I think about drinking alcohol. I guess the temperature kind of depends a little bit too. If it's hot,
No.
kind of gross. But
Yeah.
we've never tried to cool it down. I guess conceivably you could put like if we found like a river
water
to
or
put the
something.
flask
Yeah,
just
you could
like
float it
set-
in the river a little bit.
That's what I did with those beers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, work
and
for
that was delightful. I think for me, I typically like something a little sweeter on the trail. I would say if I
Really?
were going, I just think it's kind of like a treat.
Like
Yeah.
a Mountain Dew.
Yeah, but so there's that. But I think I would almost always go
Love
to
for
a
you to put
rye
a
at
Mountain Dew on
home.
the trail. It'd be
But I would say like a Sazerac.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite.
or like an Eagle
Budget
Rare.
rye.
Yeah,
would
Eagle
be
Rare
like
is good.
top 2 right now if I were to hit one on the trail.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those would be my pick.
I haven't had bourbon on the trail in a long time. I think I stopped bringing it when I started trying to become ultralight. And I'm like, come on.
I
man.
guess
It's
you're
just-
not ultralight anymore.
I
So
guess
it's
not.
time to
I'm
start
not,
bringing
yeah, I
it.
guess so.
You
right?
return
Just-
one too many times with a half flask, and you're like, yeah, well, it's just not worth it. I'm not drinking it. It doesn't matter.
That
whatever.
kind of was the thing. Like
Also,
I wasn't drinking
and
it.
also,
get
I
that.
will say,
Yeah.
there was so much of it was tied in with circle meat.
Circle meat.
Circle me.
Circle me.
Because that, and we haven't said that in a while, but that was
Gosh,
a
man, for the
early on
loyalists,
that was an
true.
early on tradition for us.
OG
Where we would,
listeners
it
will know.
was campfire, it was cheese, it was circle meat, and it was whiskey.
yeah,
Circle
you're
me.
right.
And that was
That's true.
that was
You're
a
right.
big part of those trips.
I remember.
You're right.
I think the last few times I've taken whiskey on the trail, I've cashed it the first night.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I
there's
typically
that.
do is what I've done the last few times is because I used to like sip it throughout. No, the way is to just take a night,
The way.
finish,
And
it.
then
just
do it.
commit.
Just commit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Commit.
Just
This
get
is
it
going to
done.
be the night.
This is gone.
Yeah.
We,
And I'm gonna
we had
pass
an
out
awesome
on the
fire.
bed.
And that's why, yeah.
So real quick before we do into articles, you mentioned Mountain Dew. I just have this quick story about Mountain Dew. I don't drink soda ever. I don't really like it. It's just too sugary and stuff like that. I was at like this little like party a couple weeks ago, and they had a cooler. And typically, I'll grab like a LaCroix or something like that out of a cooler. They didn't have like beer or anything like that. And I went and I grabbed something and I opened it and I took a swig
Live
and just
wire.
Mountain Dew, and I was like,
Lime
and I was just kind of standing there with it open because I was like, I'm not drinking this. And my wife was laughing at me so hard because I was just at this party with like people I knew but not
Yeah.
like super comfortable with. Where I
Yeah.
could be, oh, Mountain Dew. It was just kind of like, oh, I opened this. Now it's mine. What do
Oh,
I
I
do?
haven't had it in a
And I
long
had to be
time,
like
and I
really
would
like
do it.
secretive with how I threw it away.
Oh my
I
god!
remember my
Should've brought it over to
my
house.
last Mountain Dew memory was I think I was walking through a Target at like 10 at night. I was getting some diapers or something. It was one of those runs where you're like, you go in,
Hell
you
yeah.
have to.
Yes.
Because it's
Hell
like,
yeah.
we need something right now. They're about to close. Make it happen.
Diapers.
And
are
then on
depends.
your way
You having a
home,
hard
you
time?
got Taco Bell or half off at
Diapers for
Applebee's.
children.
Oh, for children, not for you. Okay,
just to
got it.
clarify.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But I was in the checkout line and they have those little soda cases,
Yeah.
coolers. And there was like an orange one. There was like a new Mountain Dew I've
Livewire.
never seen. I hadn't had a soda or a Mountain
Livewire.
Dew
That's the one.
in
Livewire, I think.
in
is what it's
probably
called.
at that point in probably like 5 years. I hadn't drank a soda or a Mountain Dew specifically in that long. And I saw it, and for some reason I was like,
never.
Other than a Baja
God.
Blast, it's been a while. But I will say,
Dude, I
I
had a Coke like earlier yesterday.
I
yesterday.
had
oh, dude, no,
I had a
never.
Mountain Dew this week.
Oh, hell, dude,
I
crazy.
I
I've
haven't
not-
had one in years.
I've
just a
compl-
straight Mountain Dew.
I kind of
Yeah.
want, want one now.
I had written them off and still have, but for some reason in that
it's,
moment
it's
at that particular
candy.
second, it was so tempting, and I was like, you know what, I'm doing this, and I grabbed it, and I got to the car. Same thing as Austin. I took one sip. I'm like,
hard to
absolutely
do.
not.
Not happening.
This is not happening.
This was a
at all.
mistake. This is a mistake.
I throw this out immediately when I get home. It
All
was
right,
terrible.
we're 23 minutes in. We need to talk about some
Let's get
articles.
to some
episode.
backpacking.
Let's make sure the
events.
camera's rolling and
It
let's
is.
get
It
into
is.
it.
Rolling.
I see
Let's
the light.
go.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Brian, you want to start us off? Let's go.
He said he had one teed up. I'm ready
Oh,
after
I do.
him.
Tee it up, man.
Oh,
I was
you
just
don't.
saying, I do
Feed
have
us.
one teed up.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Let's go.
Maybe someone has this. This is from Backpacker Magazine. Company hike from hell ends with worker trapped overnight
Oh
on
my God.
14er.
I
Yeah.
saw this.
I saw the headline.
I saw it.
I saw the headline too.
Yeah, that's all I saw.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
Go ahead. I actually know a company that just did like a hike in like Colorado for
Yeah.
their.
this is in Colorado.
Oh shit! It's not them because I talked to them.
No, dude, so many companies do this.
I know, I
yeah,
know.
this is
It's-
like a
it's
common
not,
thing. I mean, they joke about it on like
Team
The
building,
Office.
man.
Yeah, okay,
they do
so-
trust falls and shit.
Yeah,
I imagine.
I will say I think
S'mores.
I think this is a fantastic idea as as like a company outing for team building and that kind of thing. Like it's a great idea. Like you go through a lot of different things, but I think in order to do it, you need to have like at least 4 people that are somewhat experienced.
Listen, dude.
especially if you're going to go tackle a
taking
14er.
a group up a 14er.
Yeah.
Hold on, bad idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Bad
I agree.
I agree with you 100%. But hey, this makes me think. In Wyoming, that last group we saw. where
Oh
there was-
yeah, right.
Do you think that was a work trip?
No.
No,
Or that was
no,
that was maybe
dog.
a camp trip or something.
I
It was,
don't know what
there
kind
was,
of trip
there was,
that was.
There was one enthusiastic guy and 5 holy shit this sucks guys. Like it was.
I don't know, man.
I
That wasn't
wonder.
a work
That
trip.
I
makes-
think they
that
were.
makes me
They
think of
lost
this.
a fantasy football bet type of guys. Yeah.
Well, the article doesn't mention anyone's name. I'm pretty sure, and I read this yesterday, so I'm trying to kind of go back in my memory here. But so it was a big group, and they split the group into 2 smaller groups.
Love that.
Okay, and so they were going up to try to summit earlier in the morning.
What were they? Does it say what they were trying to summit?
Mount Chavano.
Okay.
What what park? Do we know?
You said it's in Denver or in Colorado?
It's a little bit outside Denver.
Okay.
In Colorado, yeah.
Gotcha.
So it here's the thing that kind of bugs me. So they split the group into 2. Okay, not that big of a deal. All right. What they did was they left a person behind to summit by themselves,
Bad
What?
Mistake number 1.
Yeah.
which is the person who was left by themselves.
How's splitting in 2 even make that happen?
It doesn't specify why they left this person behind.
It sounds like they were trying to get this person to quit.
Well, no. So
He got a really bad review that year.
There's some clues that suggest that like they were like, oh, they'll catch up because there were signs of them leaving shit on the trail to like
Oh.
so
Like,
that this person would
he could
follow
catch
it,
up?
right?
Well, they did that further back after the summit in order to kind of regroup and take everyone back down. But that person that they summited around 11:30 in the morning. They got lost because they were coming back down by themselves without GPS, without anything to like. They don't have like an all trails to figure out like where the trail is or anything like that. They had a phone, which was good. They were dressed in all black.
Yeah.
They're just not prepared.
So do you think that this one person was like, I'm going to go do this by myself if nobody else wants to do it? Or were the other people like...
No, because everyone went and summited, but they all came back down and let this person summit by themselves.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is a awful thing to leave people
I think it's a
behind.
mix between like them being like, oh, like I'm sure you're fine by yourself, which is not the correct way to do it.
Was he on his way up summiting while they were coming back?
Yeah, so he was a little bit slower. She was a little bit slower.
Okay.
I don't think it specifies a man or woman. But as they wandered to the top of the mountain and kind of came back, it says that I'm trying to find where the thing was. He was able to send a text message because he got lost. He couldn't find the trail again.
Okay.
And he was able to send a text message to the rest of the group. And the rest of the group said, find the gear that's kind of in a pile, and then that's where the trail is and come back down. Right?
I thought you were going to say
Couldn't find it.
The group didn't reply like when we sent a text.
That's
to
what
No,
it is. That's
no,
what it is.
no. They were able
piled
to
some gear.
Yeah, right. So
Okay.
dude.
Find our
Back
shit.
to the pile.
We're discussing the morality of cairns, and these guys are stacking gear
Right,
together.
right.
Come on.
Come on.
So
Follow
they
Velcro.
replied that he needed to climb back up the ridge to regain the trail. As he approached, so it was a guy that got lost. As he approached to the top again, he became turned around, and a rainstorm came in, and then
It
he
goes
lost,
bad to worse.
and then
real
he
quick.
lost his cell reception.
Oh no.
Guy's named Gus
If you
Chiggins.
see a
No.
Goose chickens.
So they were able to call. They were able to call for help. Right.
So what happened?
multi-agency team sourced the area overnight for the hiker who was wearing all black. Okay. They used helicopters. They used drones.
shit.
And were unable to find him. The crew geared up for a second search Saturday morning.
Okay, so we're making light of this. The guy is safe, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I figured
Before
you wouldn't be.
I started feeling like an asshole.
You wouldn't be
Not dead.
laughing about it and allowing us to
not
joke
dead,
about
right,
it if he was.
right.
If he
Okay,
didn't.
all right.
So-
I just want to make sure we're
The
sticking
hiker-
with
We're
Gus
glad
here.
you're okay.
The
Yes.
hiker was able to get
Thank
enough
you.
cell reception to call 911. The crews located him in a gully high on the mountain. He had fallen on the steep slopes multiple times during the storm, injuring himself badly enough in the last fall that he was unable to continue.
Shit.
After what sounds like a difficult rescue involving several technical rope attempts to lower the guy, EMS finally transported him to a hospital to receive care.
So how many days was he out there by himself?
He was out there overnight.
Yeah,
overnight.
to one-
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just one night.
Well,
Fortunately.
I guess technically
Damn.
from what he summited around 11 a.m. and then
Yeah,
started
so-
to come back down.
So
and got
24
lost.
hours.
I guess
And
then,
I guess
yeah.
for next year's retreat they're gonna go bowling.
So-
That's my guess.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Minor league baseball.
I have so many problems with this right now.
So,
F- the guys, f- the whole team
well, hold
that
on.
left
for
the
leaving
guy.
him.
for
Right.
just leaving him.
Even if he wanted to do it on his
Also,
own,
was
you
this
don't leave
was
him
this
alone.
not a guided?
Ever.
Was this not a guided thing?
I don't. It doesn't say
You would
anything
think
about
you
guides.
would
I mean, well, all
expect.
right.
It
Here,
says nothing about guides.
I'm gonna answer
Sounds
my own
like
question.
this one guy had a choose your own adventure.
I'm gonna answer
experience.
my own question because of course it's not guided. If it was, this would never have happened.
Right,
No
because the
way.
guide
'Cause
would
if
never
it wa-
allow
if,
that.
if-
Right.
If it was guided
Yeah.
and this happened, the story would be
About the
guy.
about that
Right.
company. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
And
absolutely
so,
right.
Ding,
but
ding, ding.
that is so many bad decisions, and seriously, that guy. And if you're listening, or if anyone who knows him is listening, I'm very happy that you're okay, and hopefully your recovery is going
No
well. I don't know
kidding,
what the
man.
injuries were, but thank God you're okay. But absolutely not, dude. You never leave a partner
Ever.
alone.
What, like,
ever.
At what point did they think, oh yeah, you just by yourself? Like who thought
that
that
makes
was a good
no
idea?
sense. to
There
me.
are survival stories where it's like if it's a pair, then and one is critically injured and can't move. It's like
Well,
okay,
sure,
now
sure.
we make a plan. I'm gonna go get help. I'll come back, and like that's very dangerous. But they do it consciously, and it's a last resort.
Right.
You're never just leaving people by themselves on a mountain.
It's like, no, you just hack this out by yourself.
Right. If we
You're
were
good.
even, and we're not doing 14er, but like us four, if we were up, it's and I'm lagging behind, it's like, oh, we'll see you at the top. Bye. Like no. That never happens.
It kind of made me think about when we were in the whites coming
Yeah,
back
that
down
group.
on what was Osgood.
Yes.
there was
Yeah.
a
I thought
there
of
was
the
a group
exact
of
same
people,
thing. Yep.
and there was a guy that was
Don't
probably
love
the
that.
most experienced in the group, and we saw him first. He was maybe 30 minutes above the
Booking.
rest of the group,
booking.
just hammering.
Yeah.
and
Oh, this is gonna dovetail nicely.
Dude,
Carry on.
And so we finally passed
ahead,
a few more people that are still experienced hikers that are like, hey, have you seen the guy that was like, oh yeah, no, he's 30 minutes ahead
oh,
of
dude,
you.
he was like an hour.
He left.
we saw
No,
him.
yeah.
We saw him 30 minutes ago. But we were going
Right,
the
and we
opposite
were going
direction.
the
I
opposite
know.
direction.
They were far away.
They were far
And then
away.
we saw another group
They
of
were
slower
they were split into
hikers
three
that
three groups. Yeah.
clearly never hiked before.
Bad.
And so
Now, I will say in that situation, there's one saving component is none of those in each of those three part like groups that no one was alone.
The only one who was
That's
alone
true.
was the
Was the
one
first
who was
guy.
the most experienced,
Right.
and he was first.
Right.
So if something did happen, theoretically everyone would catch up to him.
catch up to him.
So it's
Yeah,
it's better.
still kind of a clown.
The idea
if you're
of-
leaving the caboose behind and seeing like
Yeah, man.
That's
peace,
way different.
deuces,
Right.
You know,
the
that's
idea
not
of
okay.
leaving like a pile of gear and it's like, hey, if you see the crotch pot, take a left.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
just
Make
wait.
it right at the toe socks.
There's a couple things I wanted to mention. If you're gonna, if companies are gonna do this, they should have experienced people. If you're gonna, let's say they do split into the two groups, right? Because the group is too large, they want to split it. Like maybe there's 20 people. They're gonna do 10.
They've
and
got
10,
accounting.
right?
They've got creative. They've
Sure.
got
So put someone that's experienced in the front. Put someone that's experienced in the back in both groups,
Right.
And
Or-
never ever leave somebody
or
behind.
why
by
are
If
you
you're gonna
themselves.
do a 14er, maybe do it guided.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
why in
Expense
why,
that shit.
why in the
Right.
hell?
Or if you're not, go camping.
Right.
Yeah.
What company in
Cash
the
in
right
those tax
what company in the
write-offs.
right
Come on.
mind would be like,
Come on.
middle manager Tom has been on a few trips before. He's going to take 20 of our company out by himself on a Ford.
I
It's like,
took the
no.
family to Zion last summer. I could do it.
Yeah, like come on, guys.
Yeah, no.
Do better.
I'm disappointed.
I'm
Yeah,
disappointed.
I'm
Disappointed.
all right. I'm gonna tag.
Does it say what company? I probably
It
can't.
can't.
doesn't.
No, it
No
does
way.
not. No.
I'm gonna tag on this.
was Mountain Dew.
This
It was
story because
Pepsi.
it's similar. yeah. By the way, I don't think that Pepsi has been produced in about 17 years. But
still just rolling on the
it's
old
a
stock.
it's a conspiracy theory that I'm heavily invested in. But
Oh,
anyways, a man went
Tell me
missing
more.
in a Washington National Park on July 31st. So today is September 6th.
Is he still missing?
Or this article came out September 6th. So he was missing July 31st. He was just found alive.
Today.
God, dude.
Dude, that's not
wait,
time.
this came out
This is the
last
8th.
week.
Last week? Okay.
Today's the 8th.
Today's
so
the
this
8th, okay.
happened. He was found on the 6th.
On August 30th, he was found.
August 30th.
So,
All right, it's
Okay,
still pretty
good.
fresh.
a full
Damn.
month.
Yeah, full
He was
month.
gone
Damn.
in Washington National Park. So
Man.
39-year-old Robert Schock, a missing person. He was last seen in the park on July 31st. They saw him hiking without any overnight supplies. He was
What?
found, and they said that he was alive and well, but his family is kind of painting a more dire picture of his state. He's pretty. I mean, he's obviously weak and no.
he's pretty malnourished.
So he
for
went
sure.
out. He went out without overnight.
It sounds
and he
like it
lasted
started
a month?
as a day hike and he lasted a month.
Every time.
Holy shit!
And I have another one that's kind of like this too. Every time we've talked about this, getting lost on the
It's
Getting
day
Lost
hikers.
episode.
And like
anytime,
yeah.
it's day hikers.
It's day hikers and
the
usually by himself.
majority of people.
What's crazy too is he started with his dog, and 4 days after this, his dog was found about 8 miles away from the hiking trail.
Oh man!
So he was pretty far out. His vehicle was found.
He
All
should've
this.
just followed his
He
dog.
saw that his wallet was on the dashboard, like all this kind of stuff. They stopped the search on August 16th. So like
were
after
just
a
like,
couple
That's a
weeks,
long
they're like,
time ago.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's insane. And they say that like when they found him, he only had days left to live. Now, here's the thing about the story, because I was kind of going through here and trying to figure out more. His side has not really been published yet. We don't know what he went through to survive.
Yeah,
Right.
And what he was doing out there, what was going on, how he got lost, how he got found. That stuff is not part of it. So I'm super curious to hear what happened out there, because to go out on a day hike and to survive that long,
Dude, imagine going for a day hike.
I mean,
and then
people don't
months and a half
survive like
later.
that on a television show like alone.
He obviously
That
found
long.
a good water source.
food. He had to have food.
He didn't have to have food. You can fast for a really long time.
You can, but
a
I will say
long
though,
time.
There's people
He
that
had to be
fast for
weak.
41 days.
you
though.
can, but here's the problem.
After
Not-
never having done it ever.
Well, that's the
I
thing.
mean,
well-
that's the thing is that you're also fasting in an extreme environment
True.
with,
Right.
with stress
Right.
and physical
Right.
challenges and trying to sleep out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot
That's
of
where I
toll
think
on your
this
body.
fasting would
Yeah.
be incredibly difficult. So I'm super interested to see what comes out about this story and how he survived that long. I mean, honestly, like that's book worthy.
Well,
Shit.
I was gonna say, on the way over here, I was listening to one of my favorite. It's not really a podcast; it's a series. It's on
You were
Spotify.
listening to Trail Theory?
Oh well, yeah, that too. My
I
second
want to
favorite.
make so many jokes right now.
No,
Dude,
but
I have
my,
like 3 in the
Canned up.
locked and loaded, but I'm just gonna let them
So,
talk.
but no, real survival
Oh yeah,
stories
yeah.
is a series on Spotify that I listen to all the time, and I just got done listening to one. This would be like this is absolutely
Real survivor stories
right
worthy.
content for
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing a story on it. Which
His firsthand account is actually going to be a book. That's
It
why.
probably
That's
will.
why it's
Yeah.
not out.
Yeah, maybe.
but what if he like was out there and figured out a way to get DoorDash or something? Was like I'm just gonna milk this.
Well, it is funny. We have. I remember at the Red. We had joked about like what if you could
Yeah, we
get
did,
Amazon
yeah.
to deliver
Yeah,
something to you.
yeah.
Be a drone. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Alex, here's your package.
Is there an Alex Spruggle here? I got an Amazon package.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't that be so freaking
Pete from
funny?
Amazon. What a trooper.
No, they're just gonna
Yeah.
be
Thanks for coming all the way out here, man.
yeah, from the Bezos satellites, they're just gonna be shooting stuff down into the
the
wilderness.
drone,
You know,
the drone.
There you go. Yeah.
Imagine being out there and like all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, man, I forgot my biscuits and gravy this morning. It's like a Hunger Games, dude.
Dad, I would leave camp.
Where are you gonna be? Where are you gonna camp? And then all of a sudden a drone comes
Oh,
by.
they
and
don't
it-
even. No, dude,
it
they'll just
drops.
track it to your phone.
No,
Baby.
I'll just throw a rock right at that drone.
No, at that point, it's like
Salvage it for
you
parts.
hike the entire day without your pack, and then you just have it delivered to you.
Listen, I hate to say
Wait,
this.
that's like a step away from VR, dude.
I
That
hate
is like,
to say it, but that's got to be the future. For
Oh,
real.
my
For real.
God.
Why would you not? If they're delivering packages now with drones and with
I know.
robots
I
that ride
know.
on the sidewalk,
I guess for
why would
big-
they not be able to drop something off in the woods?
I guess
not
for-
It's not about
whether
being
they
able.
can.
Exactly. You're
It's
I'm just
about
saying
should.
it will.
and
It
whether
will happen.
whether there's a demand for it. You're talking about like one guy.
Bro,
you
who
know.
cares whether demand or not? If you say
I'll
I'm
tell you
here,
who cares. Companies.
deliver it here.
survival things would be great though, right?
You know
So
what-
if
you
you're
know what
lost-
you have to-
if
In
you're
the
lost and you
safety
can't get to
standpoint, it would
somebody,
be good.
You know how
right?
much you have to invest in something to offer that service to be like we can go anywhere in the world.
Hey, big dog,
including
they're
the
already
frickin'
they're
any
already
remote
delivering via
rainforest.
drone. They're already doing that.
To the middle of nowhere where nobody has ever been ever.
We cross roads and shit on all this stuff, dude.
Nah, man.
Absolutely not.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Time will
Calling
tell.
it, calling it right now.
Supply and demand, man.
Yeah.
You get enough people out there at campsites saying like, "I wish Amazon was here." Yeah, eventually it'll happen. But
Well,
you know.
dude, take campsites out of it. Who cares about campsites? I'm out of the
Playoffs.
I'm watching my dad's softball game at some local park. I want to deliver right now.
That's totally
That's
different.
different,
That's
though.
totally different.
That's like DoorDash.
That's completely different.
Yeah,
if you're
like,
in the
that's
middle
like
of the
Postmates
that's like-
has
yeah.
that basically.
Well, yeah, but you're
That's
just
completely-
remove remove the activity out of it.
So maybe remove
I'm just
the
down the
employee.
woods.
yeah, well, but also change the geographic location
Drum,
by
man,
a
it's
lot.
all automated.
Automate it.
It's all automated.
That's how Jurassic Park got in trouble. All right, let's
Oh
move
my
on.
God, yeah, right.
Yeah, it wasn't the dinosaurs; it was the automation. All
That's
right,
crazy.
so kind of on the same line. I came across this article that was super interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard of the haiku stairs in Honolulu.
No.
I have not.
But it's this. It has some of the best hiking in this area in Honolulu, in Hawaii, and it has been just wrecked with just overcrowding and
feel like I heard
vandalism
about
and all these
this.
issues. Right?
Is there
and to kind of
is there a background to why it's called the haiku stairs?
I don't have that information.
There probably is, but
But they've began the process of removing these stairs so that there's less access on these protected areas of the park, right?
Yeah.
Because it's been so overcrowded and people have just been trampling on everything and just ignoring all the rules, right? Well, in the past week, it's gotten so bad they've even gone as far as arresting people.
oh damn.
14 people last week got arrested for trespassing and vandalism in an overcrowded area. So, they were arrested for illegally gaining access to a certain area. So basically, it's this area, this crazy overlook, beautiful trails, but there's this part that like you're not supposed to access that people have been trekking into, and they've been so fed up there that they've arrested people for going in a certain area, which is
damn.
just insane. It's not a state-sanctioned trail, and using it to teach at the top of the stairs is illegal and dangerous. So it's a danger issue. It's a risk. It's a
Safety
hazard.
issue.
It's a
Yeah.
safety issue.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was crazy. Like people were. I mean, obviously they're not throwing them in the slammer for doing
Right,
this.
right,
but
right.
people were
Taking
arrested.
a link and saying, "Hey,
yeah, dude.
you're in whammo."
Yeah, dude.
It is interesting, I think, when you include some level of safety to it, it changes things. And granted, now we've been on trails where people get rescued from, helicopters. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, there is some, degree of safety
And,
that has to be involved.
Yeah, and it calls back to the whole, like, we've had a lot of conversations about introducing permits and like time departures or time, whatever they're called,
Timed entry.
timed entry for parks, and it's like that's not throwing people in the slammer, but it's the same kind of concept. Is like
regulating a
you
little bit.
have to
Yeah.
regulate in some way.
Well, when there's that
Otherwise-
many people.
Well, I
Right,
didn't
the
even- I
demand
didn't
gets so
even,
high you can't supply it.
When I was
Well-
looking at this article, I didn't even get to the bottom of this until just now. So let me just read the last part of this article. The hiking trail, often referred to as the Stairway to Heaven, comprises of steep climb of almost 4,000 steps. It's been off limits to the public since 1987.
Whoa.
Due to overcrowding and vandalism. So this is not a new problem. As we've previously reported, illegal hiking has continued to be a problem with hikers, tourists, Instagrammers, and YouTubers risking the $1,000 fine for trespassing.
So I got a take on this then.
People have scaled fences and crossed people's backyards to access it. So, dude, this is
So,
not
all
just
right,
like
I have
going
a-
off the path a little
I have a
bit.
take, and
This
I
is a
don't
little bit
know.
more.
I don't know that
They're
particular.
working hard to break the law.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know that particular area, but so here's my take. If that's obviously something that is, whether it's good views, 4,000 steps, like that's cool. Like whatever it is cool enough to where there's a lot of demand, people want to go see it, right? So if the answer to that was nope, zero, like complete prohibition, dude, like look at, you try to get rid of alcohol and
I guess so,
like,
yeah.
At
Listen,
least
where there's a
reg-
will,
let's
there's a
go.
way.
Right, regulation is one thing. We're like, okay, we got to keep it contained to like this many people. You got to buy a
Yeah.
permit. Let's make some revenue off it. There's a smart way
people
to do
can
it,
kinda
and there's a
still go through.
stupid way to
Right.
do it, which is like, nope, you don't get to do it at all. What is anybody, like we all have children, when you say no, don't do something, what are they going to do? What are they going to want to do?
Yeah.
Exactly that thing.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to do a little bit more research if they could like turn it into a place like they did with like that Angels Falls
Angels
trail
Landing.
or
Right,
Angels
right.
Landing trail, which is like crazy dangerous. But they have
Right.
permits. They have
Exactly.
they do have like chains and ropes and things like that up there.
Let
like,
a freaking
is
guide
that a
company
thing?
come in
'Cause
and be like,
at
that you have to go through us.
If
Like,
the
this is
point-
the only access
If the point, if you know, the state it's in right now is too dangerous for people, that's one thing. But like, if it's that majestic
Right.
and beautiful that people are climbing fences, risking $1,000 fines to get there,
Find a way to make
Maybe
it
it's
happen.
accessible.
Maybe there's history
Yeah.
behind it. Maybe there's like some
Yeah.
meaning where people are like, I don't
you know
care.
What?
It could be.
I'm gonna make a note to go back to this and kind of do some research off mic to see like what the real story with
Hashtag
this
off
is,
mic.
because like you don't. Dude, 14 people arrested for something like this, that's pretty intense.
getting
and, like,
arrested
why are they risking
is pretty-
that?
Right.
It's
Why?
pretty wild.
That's a lot to risk to go see, a nice view. Like there's got to be, and at that point, I think that's just bad. Sort of, that's a deficiency in the regulation of a thing instead of, and people shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't break the law. Don't do that. But it's like
Yeah,
you can do
yeah,
things in a good way
respect
that makes
that,
everybody happy, right? And you've seen it at Banff. You've seen it at a lot of different places.
Yeah, I think there's a way to do it. And I think my guess is, I'm going to guess, it's similar to like the enchantments where
Yeah.
they don't have, the problem is probably staffing, is my guess, is finding ways to regulate it with humans.
And the ways to enforce it.
And ways to enforce it,
Yeah.
right? It's like, okay, well, we don't have the infrastructure to support this for whatever reason. And it's like Angel's Landing. There's someone at the base of the trail that like anybody can go do. And then there's someone at the top that allows you to go through. So like there's two waves of humans
Yeah.
basically at all times holding you back.
So we talked about this in a previous episode that's I'm sure it's been released already, maybe not. But where we talked about it's definitely
definitely
before
released
this
our
recording.
this one, yeah.
Before this recording. We don't flip flop that much. But we talked about you going to Angel's Landing, you didn't get a permit to go do the climb, and you were kind of regretting it. Well, I think, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I sent you a video of somebody doing Angel's Landing and what it looked like.
Oh yeah, this like speed ramp
Yeah.
version of it.
Bro.
It's awesome.
I mean,
Nuts.
listen,
Yeah.
like I'm down for a lot of shit. That's pretty
It's
narrow.
scary, dude.
It's
Oh.
it's like tightrope rock, dude.
Yeah.
It's intense.
And
there's,
again,
there's
that-
handle.
you talk
There's a railing.
No, I know.
Yeah, you talk
Bro.
about safety, man. You got people up there doing it in like
Oh, yeah.
Jordans
Flip-flops.
and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, that's the safety. It's not.
Right.
It's not necessarily that there's.
You should be
You
required.
got to worry about other people and like you
should-
talk about the volume of people. That's the safety hazard.
You should be required to do those types of things
Yeah.
because it's a technical trail. You
Yeah.
should have a certain level of technical things at minimum, like trail shoes or a hiking boot. Like that,
Dude, that's that's a little
minimum.
bit of gatekeeping though. And
But-
listen,
but already
no
kinda-
shoe,
but
no
already
shirt,
kinda
no
doing
shoes,
that.
no service,
Listen,
man.
man.
bro. If you want to do this, you have to have the right shit.
I'd probably trust a dude with no shoes and no shirt over somebody in Jordans. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, and I do
probably
think
true.
there's a certain level.
Yeah, for sure.
And having gone up to the base of that part of the trail, you see it all, man. There are
Yeah.
people wearing
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
thong sandals from the Old Navy, and there are people,
Yeah.
people wearing beat up
Don't do
sneakers.
that,
like,
guys.
Dude, give me
It's-
barefoot
Don't
over
do that.
flip flop.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
it all, and again,
Oh,
not
for sure.
that you can't enjoy it. There are parts of it, and I'm sure people have. I don't know, man. It's kind of scary. Like what? I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen it on other trails
No,
too, where people are
we've
like
talked
going
about,
up steep sections, and it's like.
We've talked about Adirondacks of coming down.
Like Loyalsock,
Marcy.
remember coming down that real steep shit?
Yeah.
We got to the bottom in this like family of four. They're
Oh,
like
yeah.
going
Chuck
for like a
Taylor
day
and-
hike, and it's
Yeah,
like, whoa,
right,
And
man.
sandals.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chucks
Like,
and
I'm
sandals.
not so sure this is like what you might want to rethink this.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, they learned. If we had followed them, they learned pretty quick. I promise you. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't 30
Yeah.
more feet before they would have been like, oh,
yeah,
Never mind.
this is special.
This is something different.
You
than what I was
guys just
expecting.
gave me a great idea.
Yeah.
So I work for a footwear company. I have a lot of demo sets of shoes.
You got size 10?
A good 11. Relax.
We've been relaxing.
It would.
I'm tired of
It would be really interesting for like a brand to take a run of hiking shoes or like trail running shoes to the base of like a complicated climb.
Oh, yeah.
For
It would
people
be-
who
it would
don't
be interesting.
have
Yeah.
the correct footwear to at least like, hey, like this would help you with your
Yeah.
hike, but also like check out our brand. Like,
Yeah.
instant sell. They're like,
There you
yeah,
go.
dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
all right,
Customer for life.
jot it down, baby. Yeah, honestly,
Tell me
you
what
know,
trail I need to
it's
show
not-
up
jot
there
it
in my
down,
Crocs.
baby. right,
All
anyway,
right, Crocs
all right,
to the trailhead.
I'm gonna take mine.
We're deep into this, and
deep.
we're like 3 articles in. So
I know. I'm
Pfeiffer-
gonna go to mine.
Thank
All right.
you.
These are
So-
good ones, though. They've
No,
had a
they
lot-
are.
They've had a lot of
I also
really
have
good
like
dialogue.
4 more that I have, and they might need to get saved.
All right. It's the only one I have, so we'll embrace it.
Thanks for doing homework.
It was that good. I only need to do one.
We'll see.
Also from Backpacker. This was recent, September 3rd. So just
It was
about a
posted
week ago.
20 minutes ago.
14 people have died in the Grand Canyon this season.
Yeah.
Is this normal? And the article itself is not explicitly what I want to talk about, but basically it is normal. Like that's not entirely so right now at least it is. So 14 in 2023 there were for the whole season there were 15, so they're kind of on track. And it's kind of within the range of normal, unless for some reason the rest of the season, like a bunch of people start dying, it's going to be pretty normal. But if you think about it, what caught me in the article, and there's a lot, it goes through some stats and everything, but Grand Canyon deaths specifically, so 15 in 2023 out of 4.72 million visitors.
Yeah.
In
I
that
mean, it's
season.
very, very low, but
So I did the math. That's 1 in 315,000 people. Visitors, at least. And so if you look at like a mortality rate for Grand Canyon season, if you're a visitor, you have a 1 in 315,000 chance.
what are they dying from?
That's
Is it
what I was
from
gonna ask.
dehydration?
I think
Is it
falling?
from
So
falling?
and most of it is, most of 14. It's not a huge sample size, but there could be like a cardiac arrest out there, and it's
Okay.
like that's a death in the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
But it's usually it's weather. So people who aren't used to 102 degrees during the day,
Getting dehydrated,
it's flash
heat stroke.
floods. So the getting caught in a flood is a maybe not a big portion of it, but a portion of it. But all cause anything that happens out while you're out
yeah.
there.
So interestingly enough, too, let me throw this tidbit out there. The Grand Canyon, from the top of the canyon to the bottom to the Colorado River, is 4,500 feet.
It's huge.
So, and this
One
was
little slip.
This is the interesting part. The temperature difference
Mm-hmm.
between the rim and the base of the canyon. So, okay, in the summer, temperatures at the bottom of the canyon, like at Phantom Ranch, which is like the spot at the bottom, can exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit, while the rim is usually in the low 60s to high 70s.
Wow.
So when people start that trail, and I was there in the spring, there was
Yep.
snow on the top, and it was like 30 degrees warmer the lower you go.
Yeah. Wow.
So think about that. I mean, it could be, if
Well-
you're there and it's hot, like hot-ish at
Yeah.
the top, I mean, the amount of water, I mean, there's just a lot of planning that goes into
Yes.
that.
So
Definitely.
and we just got done talking about people who show up and aren't necessarily prepared for what they're about to get into. That's gonna happen at the Grand Canyon too.
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah, totally.
most
How
of
many
the
million
time,
people? How many million
4.72 million
Yeah, dude.
in a season. So the most of the time, even those people are getting away. They're fine. They may have an uncomfortable experience, but they're not dying. And that's only Grand Canyon. But what it made me think of, and why it's like the article is the article, it's basically normal, unless the rest of the year is terrible. Like it's going to be okay. But like what's the mortality rate of like other things out there? And so I started looking, and there's a cool little graph that I'll have to link in the show notes, but of other recreational activities and the mortality rates for those things. So what are what would you think recreational activity wise?
Pickleball.
Oh gosh, I don't know
Carry
if
on.
that's in here. I have to find it if it is.
If you died from playing pickleball, it's probably from alcohol poisoning. There's no way.
Nah, dude, cardiac arrest, man.
Nah, dude.
So I mean, there's like hang gliding, which is 1 in
Okay.
560. It's like okay.
Well, that's kind of
rock
high.
The
climbing.
Grand,
That's high.
14 of the Grand
hang
Canyon.
gliding,
Base jumping.
you got confidence,
So
man.
base,
Like, hang
base
on.
jumping is that is in here. Hold
No,
on.
thank you.
That's 1 10,000,
Hold
maybe
on.
11,
Shoot,
50,000.
I know I saw it.
Fluke tag, where's that land?
Oh,
Blue
dude.
dog, bro. Probably
Hell yeah.
At
Red Bull.
0 because they wouldn't be doing it
We're
anymore.
doing it.
if they-
We're
if
doing
that
it.
happened.
Sponsor us, Red Bull.
Skydiving is 1 in 101,000, just over.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So
Oh, hold on.
Oh, where did our?
El gato.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
What did our
Our
camera do?
just shut
our
off.
our video just shut off, but our audio
Hang
is
on a
still
second.
going.
No, I was just gonna take my shirt off.
All right. Should I keep going, or are we gonna?
Yeah,
are
keep
we-
talking.
I'm gonna keep going. Okay,
We are
so,
recording.
yeah, the audio is going. So canoeing 1 in 10,000.
Whoa.
So these are mortality rates.
Hold on.
Yes.
Skydiving is 10 times
No.
safer.
more safe.
Skydive. Ooh, yeah,
back?
technically, according to
Yeah,
this.
bro.
But canoeing, think about it. I mean, more people do it than skydiving.
Skydiving is 10 times safer than canoeing.
Listen, man, I'm going on a fishing trip this week.
So bungee jumping, 1 in 500,000. So technically, bungee jumping
1 in
is
500,000.
So technically, bungee jumping is safer than going to the Grand Canyon specifically in a season.
Still not doing it.
I love that shit.
This is a good social post.
Running and jogging, 1 in 1 million. So that's pretty damn safe. Pretty damn safe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Base jumping, 1 in 60, Brian.
Ooh,
Jesus.
That is
no way.
Base jumping, you're jumping and then pulling a chute.
right, or you're doing the little
we
squirrel
back?
thing. Are we back? We're back.
they
All
see
right.
us?
Hey,
We're
I'm
glad
back
I
in
put my
video,
shirt
yeah.
back
So
on
every
time.
single time
Heck yeah,
someone
let's
base
go.
jumps, they got a 1 in 60 chance.
It's because they're
yeah.
so
Pass.
close.
Yeah.
They're so close to
You
the
have
rock.
a very, you have a very.
have to
there's
jump
like,
out.
There's
I've
no
seen
margin
the
of
videos.
error.
Yeah.
I've seen them, dude. They're
There's
flying squirrel
crazy.
shit.
Right.
No.
There's no
pass.
margin of
No,
error.
thank you.
So like expert climbing.
Put me in
right?
a canoe. I'll take those
I
odds.
thought this.
Yeah.
So this is expert climbing is 0.0145 in 100, which is a really weird metric. Why didn't you just do it up
Expert
to 1,000?
climbing.
But if you do it in Nepal, it's 1 in 167.
That's because they're talking about the
Right,
they're
right.
talking
It's
about
like
Everest.
getting
They're talking
diarrhea
about-
while eating fast food.
Brian,
like
so
1 in 1,000.
Pfeiffer,
Yeah.
going back to
Taco
Grand
Bell,
Canyon
1 in 10.
specifically, how many people die from like falling over the edge?
I
it like 2?
I didn't go into that, but it's probably much
I think
less.
people slip every year.
Right. I think it's
Yeah.
of the 14 this year, and I don't have this. I'll have to look it up and if it even exists for this year. But if we looked at 2023, the 15, I bet that the minority is actual like slip and fall, got lost,
Yeah.
dying in the wilderness kind of stuff, and it's mostly cardiac arrest, weather issues, dehydration. Like it's the
heat
weather
stroke,
related
that kind of
type
thing.
of stuff, or it's just someone happening to have an
Right.
event out there that they might have had anywhere else.
So I'm just gonna
here we go. I got the stat
you got
here.
something?
Yeah.
So there are roughly 5 million visitors at the Grand Canyon every year, and on average, 2 to 3 deaths per year are from accidental falls
There you
over
go.
the ramp,
Yeah.
according to park spokesman.
Yeah.
That's what, dude.
Well, we've gone right.
It's a shit ton of people, but
you can get right there. I mean, you're on.
Oh, yeah,
dude,
you're on the
it's
edge.
right there.
You can get as close as you want.
If anything, I see it in the other way. It's like it's pretty amazing that many
That
people go
doesn't
there, and
happen
only
more
2 people
often.
die
I
from
agree.
Yeah, I agree.
accidental.
If you
I
look
agree.
at those numbers and
I
you
agree.
divide those numbers up, the math. I mean, there's
The
a
maths, man. It's,
low percentage.
I
camera
don't
turned
want
off
to
again.
dive into this
shit.
article because
Yeah, well, just keep going.
she's gonna end.
It's because the friggin' temperature of the camera is too hot. I don't know why. That's
I mean,
never
I'm
happened
pretty
for us
warm in
before.
here. That's why I
It
almost
is-
took
it is
my
warm
shirt
here,
off.
Yeah.
We're too
Now
fired
I
up.
can because we're not
fired
gonna.
up.
Sweet. All right, pants
But
too. So I'm not going to.
Wait.
I'm not going to. I don't want to dive into this article in depth. I want all of us to read it, and I want you listeners to read it too.
Ooh, you got
because it's
homework.
because it's extremely long.
All 100,000 followers.
It's a long article, and it's not heavy, but it is interesting. So it's on Outside, and it's the headline is "Why does Yellowstone National Park turn us all into maniacs?"
That is a interesting headline.
And we've talked about this before. We talked about Taurons.
Oh, yeah.
But this dude like lives it, right? So he's like petting bison, cooking food in geysers, ride along with our writer on a wild trip to
Cooking
our
food
nation's
in
most iconic national park at the height of the tourist season to see all the bad behavior. So this dude, Drew Magary, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he
Marjorie. I don't know.
Margarine.
he it basically claims himself to be a bad tourist, right? And he's like, Outside is sending me out at the height of the season in Yellowstone to figure out why everybody's behaving like idiots.
Yeah.
And he goes on to talk about like, not petting the bison, staying where you need to stay, how to act. The shit is there. You are reminded about it constantly.
Yeah.
Right? Why are we acting like idiots? And it kind of it's just really, really interesting to go through all these different scenarios and his experiences. And he kind of wraps it up really nicely, where he talks about like, it's it's almost like protecting these places and making it an amusement park is going to ruin these places.
Yeah.
And it's really, really interesting because these parks were created to
Basically be that.
be a sanctuary, but the fact that we've made it a sanctuary is destroying it. And it's not so much calling for like, oh, let's dismantle the Department of the Interior national parks,
Tear it
but it's
down.
talking about how people are just behaving horribly at these places.
I will say this, and I was at Yellowstone last year. I think last year, yeah. And Yellowstone is far and away, and we were just, in Wyoming at the Cirque. Yellowstone is the most wild place I've ever been.
Yeah.
And not just in the nature and the beauty of it. It feels like once you're in there, I just imagine there's people who it's just like, oh, maybe we're here. I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
It is huge.
Yes.
It is so freaking big. And I remember thinking with Allison a number of times, like, holy shit, this place, I mean, it took us hours to drive around to get to our
wild.
campground
Right.
in the
That's
park.
wild.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, obviously there's not really police there's rangers, but it's different than just being like driving around
Yeah.
in the state, right? Once you're in the park, it's just kind of like the Wild West of
Yep.
you can do whatever you want.
And you mentioned, I'll have to read that article because you mentioned amusement parks, and it's like that's the balance of conservation and accessibility, right? So it's like
great way to describe it.
And this is foreshadowing into our next episode. So because our topic for our next episode, I think we're going to talk about this a little bit. At least I plan to. Is that the purpose of developing these areas and these trails and these these wildernesses is to conserve something that otherwise might be taken over by urban development and all that stuff. And so there's that portion of it. But because it's so beautiful and everyone's just aching to get out there and wants to be part of nature, you want to make it accessible so everyone can take advantage of that. So at what point do you cross that line of like, this is now Disney?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's Yellowstone is like conservation or it's an amusement park. And I love that sort of metaphor, I guess.
Yeah,
He doesn't even
I
mention
wanna
that.
read it,
That was from me.
That was
bro.
you, dude. That's perfect because it does. Once it crosses that line, you know it. That's
I know
when
what you're looking for.
Taurons. That's when the
got you.
Taurons,
Didn't mention
sort of
it.
make themselves known as like, oh, we're here. It's
Oh, we've gone dark
gosh.
again.
and we're going dark again. But
Sorry, the
we need
video
a fan.
guys.
El
we'll have
gato.
to. We could have a whole episode on just that because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we've been to parks where even we're in Wyoming. It's very obvious. No one's going there to just be an idiot. You couldn't. Like it's not that type of.
Right.
I will also say though, the difference between like the Cirque and Yellowstone, dude, anybody in the world can just drive into Yellowstone.
Right.
When we were at the Cirque, I
true.
mean, we
It's so
saw
much
some
more
people
remote.
who were a little underprepared, but the majority of people we saw knew what the hell they were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody
So people
was
respect
walking.
that
Nobody was
wilderness.
walking in with 2 30 packs of PBR and like I plan
dude.
to get ripped and just make this place my
Right.
bitch.
Damn,
for
I wish
the
they
entire
were. That
weekend.
sounds like a fun time.
It's like that.
Hell yeah.
Once you cross that line,
Yeah.
But no, that's
I agree.
I'll have to read that. That's interesting.
All right. Well, the lights went out, and we're an
Man,
hour in, so
dark.
let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Because I have more articles, but I think
I have more
I didn't
articles.
even
We'll have
share
to
an
see
article, so-
dude.
That's right.
No, this is what we have to do now.
No love.
Next episode that we do with articles, Alex is the only one.
Only
to share.
one
You have to
to
come up with
share.
6 articles.
Yeah, perfect.
You better do your
Love
homework.
it.
Perfect.
I had 3 ready to
Well,
rant,
I
too.
am so excited and happy that we tested and perfected our signature drink, which you can hear through Austin's
It's
mic,
gone
but you
now.
can't see.
It's
gone.
definitely empty.
Yeah.
They're all gone because it was delicious.
Thank you.
What's it called again? You want to say it again?
It's the Trail Theory Campfire.
Yeah, it doesn't have a name
It
yet.
doesn't have a name yet. Is that well? It's gonna.
Trail Theory Campfire Whiskey Sour.
We
There you
need
go.
something
Okay.
that rolls off the tongue better.
We call it
We're
the
gonna-
Fern.
Let's. We gotta get back to Richard.
The Fern
A
Sour.
little bit of R&D to get
The
this
Fern
real,
Sour.
Let the marketing department take care
Sour
of it.
Fern.
Sour.
smoky sour.
Oh man!
Well,
Well,
we
hopefully it
workshopped this all
wasn't
day
too
long.
chaotic for everybody. We really appreciate everyone watching and listening. And sorry again, the cameras stopped recording, but we will figure that out for next episode. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, give us a thumbs up, comment if you have a question. The email is trailtheorypod@gmail.com if you want to write in, and we will see you next time.
Hey, who turned the lights off?
The Trail Theory Podcast is sponsored by Audimute and Audio Technica. Music by Dan Koch.